Today's episode is brought to you by Casper. Get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/baldmovetv and using promo code baldmovetv at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey everybody, we're back with another Bald Move Television, the unofficial podcast for all of television. This week we're going to zoom in on a particular slice that we revisited last time, I believe, with Altered Carbon.
Yeah.
We have seen all 10 episodes of the debut season 1, and we are going to talk about it. We had kind of a mixed review, I guess, of the first 2 or 3 episodes we watched. What did you think of how things wrapped up in the first season, Jim?
My review remains mixed. I think it was pretty good. I don't think it was great. There's still there are some problems with that series that I don't know that they ever resolve. Like that I was kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt and hoping they'd go a little bit further with them, or maybe things would sort themselves out in later episodes, and they just didn't. And it's sort of messy. Like I don't feel like it ever hits its stride. There were a couple of episodes where they really started to, and then I felt like once his sister got involved in the whole plot, things kind of fell off a cliff for me. Almost all the way to the end.
It's funny because a lot of people cited that as when things kind of picked up, and there was some point
plot-wise, yeah, but I don't like that character, I guess.
No, there's a lot I want to talk about that particular character and the questions that she arises. But there's some point where I was watching a show and like the guy who played Max Headroom was introducing a fight between Takeshi and Kristen, and they were fighting essentially Bebop and Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm like, what the fuck am I even watching? And then I realized that, like, people always ask me, if you had a huge budget and HBO contract, what book series or comic book series would you license? And I always say either the Patrick O'Brien Master and Commander series or
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Or I say Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files.
Yeah.
And I feel like Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files would look and feel a lot like Altered Carbon because you get silly, dumb dialogue at the same... And silly concepts, because the concept of a wizard practicing as a private eye in Chicago is kind of a ridiculous concept. But you would also get moments that are awesome and moments that are thought-provoking and moments of the move your emotions, because it's kind of like a pulpy thing. And I feel like Altered Carbon was much more of a pulpy thing than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But once I started...
don't like that it leaned that far toward it.
Once I started seeing it for that, then I was able to laugh and snicker at some of the things that I was rolling my eyes and getting frustrated about. And, when the thing asked me to engage my brain and consider something that was fucked up or world building or world destroying, I was able to shift up to that gear. And when it decided it was going to be dumb or roll with the rule of cool, like, the whole plot of Kirsten getting a super cyborg arm that allows her to throw dudes around.
That was cool. I'm totally fine with that.
It's dumb. It's super dumb.
For sure.
Especially in the reality of this world, but it's undeniably cool. So, like, sure, fine, whatever.
No, the problem I have is, like, the bigger stuff they're trying to do, like that Kelchris stuff, just never pays off for me.
The who?
The Kelchris, the woman that he's in love with. The Kovach is in love with.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all of that stuff just felt like...
That wasn't her name, though, was it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He calls her Kel all the time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Her actual name is Kelchrist? Wow. Falconer? Yeah, Falconer. Yeah. Okay, yeah. No, first of all...
Like, none of that stuff worked for me. Like, all of the teaching montages and, like, swaying him to her side and this about face. I just... Yeah, it never connected with me.
I actually liked it up until the point where she revealed that she was the progenitor of the stack technology, and that she also wanted to burn it all down because people shouldn't be immortal.
Right.
I mean, the science fiction futurist in me recoils whenever I see I'm supposed to identify and support people who are essentially Luddites.
Right.
Like
traditionalists and
why would I think like I would consider it an act of high terrorism to set everyone's lifespan to be 100 years, delete all their digital backups, and essentially postpone human singularity. I guess it's a reasonable argument to say that it would turn people into monsters if they lived in if they had immortality, especially if you had gross disparity between incomes and like you essentially have a permanent upper class and lower class. But
you got to find solutions to the problem that accommodate the new technologies.
Yeah, because even if she did what she set out to do, that technology, like you're going to delay things maybe in your lifetime. Mm-hmm. You're not going to actually do any kind of permanent rolling of the back of human progress. And why would you want to do that?
No, it's like the question if you took Oppenheimer and he just refused to make the bomb, right?
Right.
Well, guess what's going to happen? Somebody else is going to be brought in, somebody who's just as smart as Oppenheimer, and they're going to figure it out and they're going to do it.
Right.
And you can't stop it. The march of technology forward is inevitable.
Right.
So figure out ways to integrate the technology into the society rather than just eliminating the technology and hoping the problem goes away.
Hopefully before you reach critical breaking points in society.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I agree. Like we've got this automation coming down that's going to mean a whole lot of pressure on the working class, and
you can't just say let's not do it.
Yeah, let's just not automate. Let's not save money.
Because you know what's going to happen? We won't do it, and China will do it. We won't do it, and Turkey will do it, or Japan will do it.
Or U.S. companies will move out of the United States and do it over in foreign soil where it's not illegal or whatever.
Right. And then we'll get out-competed, and then we'll be forced to do it. So take your pick. Like, let's postpone it and make everybody's lives miserable for the next 100 years while everybody else beats us to the punch, or let's figure out a way to do it successfully.
And the other thing is like at any given point in human, like if you took a caveman and you showed him Manhattan, mm-hmm. they would recoil in horror and they'd be like, this is not how men were meant to live. This is not how men and women were. You can't feel the grass under your feet, and where's the fucking mammoths and all that. It's like, but people love living in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. It's entirely possible that, like, in this world of widespread virtual reality and virtual immortality and automation, that humans would become very fucked up and weird. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that it's our job to say that that's an invalid way for life to be.
Yeah, and I guess not all characters in the show feel that way, right? Like, Telchrist is one of them. I think Kovach is kind of one of them who... they're from a different time, really.
Right.
Like, you don't see a lot of the characters who are relatively new or have not been out of the loop for 250 years or whatever Kovach was.
Right.
Espousing those views because they're learning to live with that stuff.
Right.
Maybe that's why. Maybe you put the finger on it, like why I didn't really connect with that storyline, but it just wasn't doing it for me.
But I just feel like, I mean, I just wish there was more shades of gray, too, because, like, his sister is a monster. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, she is, like, say what you want about, like, how the meths live and all that, but it's objectively evil to tell someone that they're going to do something very risky and dangerous, but it's going to be okay because we'll give you a free stack upgrade, and then what you're actually doing is rewriting their stack to put a religious exception so they can't be...
Right.
They can't be brought back to life.
Yep.
Like, you're...
So you effectively RD them, like real death them.
Yeah. Like that to me, like that's
profit.
like the Kovach's sister is just a fucking evil person. She's been twisted by her situation and the eons of time that she's spent with the Yakuza and all these, like, she's just become a total monster. So, like, you've got benevolent, like, I guess, are we supposed to understand that Lawrence is like a mostly benevolent, like Bancroft is mostly a benevolent monster?
I guess so, because I never really quite understood whether, like, what his motives were in going and hugging all those sick people. Right. He professes that it's some kind of giving back, some kind of love that he's showing these people.
And it doesn't seem like the people were affected
generosity.
By it.
No, and I mean, he didn't seem to have anything to gain there.
Right.
He paid money effectively. He had to buy a new sleeve, right?
Right. And he died a very painful death.
Yeah.
And he also gave these people human contact that they haven't had for. So it's like,
so it does feel like he was doing a good thing there.
But that's all philanthropy, because all philanthropy, like that's the argument against it. It's like, well, you're not doing this because you care. You're doing this because it makes you feel good.
Okay, but that's a finer distinction than I care to make. Cause,
sure, agreed.
Because Kovach is there saying, like, what is he getting out of this? Like, why are you doing this?
Right.
It's so that people will look at you and say, what a good person.
It might be so he
is.
can sleep at night. It might be because he's like, I don't know. But like, if we're going to say that only people with completely pure motives can do charitable works, guess what? Not a lot of charitable works are going to get done.
Right. So I don't know what to feel about Bancroft. He does seem...
And at the end when they're like, well, you murdered this girl. And I'm like, but you also pumped him full of a super aggressive chemical and got his dick hard. Like if you pumped me full of PCP and locked me in a room with a stranger and played like...
All bets are off.
Yeah, and played like Pantera. I'm not saying I'd kill a person, but I'm no longer in my right mind.
Right.
So, like, what was the... and I guess at the end of the day, correctly, they identified that Kovach's sister and I guess Bancroft's wife are the real bad people here?
Yeah, no, it seemed like Bancroft had some stuff that he liked to do, but it always seemed consensual to me. Like, when he's killing people, they know that they're coming back.
Right.
They're willing to experience that with him in order to get an upgraded sleeve or whatever they get from him. Where it crosses the line, and the line that he said he would never cross is actually killing people.
Right.
And then, he got pumped full of drugs and he did it. But I don't know that reflects on him necessarily.
Because, again, pumped full of drugs.
Yeah.
So, and drugs designed to have that effect on a person.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that was lurking in you all. Was it? Was it really?
Or did you force him into that?
Right. Like drugging people without their consent and even being conscious of it is pretty bright white line not to cross. Yeah. And like I took him at his word that he has never killed. Like that's a white, like I've never actually killed a person.
Yeah, we have no reason not to believe it.
Right. And Kovach obviously has killed lots and lots and lots of people.
Yes.
So yeah, that some of the ethical dilemmas, like I was really into that's one of the things I like thinking about. Like, is the singularity a guaranteed descent into Caligula-like debauchery?
Right.
Like, I don't understand why the depths of depravity are what people would want to plumb rather than the heights of beauty or exploration or like you can needle cast yourself anywhere in the galaxy and you like to choke hookers to death virtually.
Right.
I that always does like Westworld plays with that too. Like, but even Westworld, they show that like most people come to Westworld to have like a conventionally white hat good time.
Yeah.
And they're not like raping and murdering everything they see.
I think though in the inevitability of time, everything becomes meaningless. And you go through the phase of like the heights of debauchery and the heights of explicit sexual acts and dark deeds, and then you come out the other side and none of it gets you hard anymore.
Right.
You know, like whether it's the beauty or whether it's the fascination with killing and rape, all of it kind of converges at the end to nothingness, right? Because if you're truly immortal and you live forever, everything will eventually become meaningless to you.
And there was some interesting things like there's
all.
this one meth talking about Bancroft, and he's talking to Takeshi, and he doesn't know that he's a envoy, and he just assumes he's a fellow meth or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, you hate Bancroft, right?" He goes, "Yeah, 100 years ago I felt the same way, but I realized there's no profit. I'm going to be stuck with this guy forever.
Yeah.
So why hate him? Just manage your him, and it's fine." Like, I guess I get that, but like I don't know, like really every meth in a room is okay with that crazy woman putting the mind of a convicted murderer into a snake. Like, not that I think this murderer, rapist, or whatever didn't, like, you know, like, what does anyone, quote unquote, deserve? But, like, there's not anyone that's like, that's gross. Like, these people are all fucking Caligula, and they're all equally vain, glorious, and evil. Like, I
just think the amount of time that they're showing doesn't get us to the point where
we're talking
everybody is over everything.
Couple hundred years, yeah.
It's several hundred years, like 350 maybe, since they stack tech.
It's kind of, I was raised where I thought that I was going to live forever, and I never really questioned that. And then I've gone through a period of time where now I feel like, I'll be lucky to get 75 years.
Yeah.
Do you think humans are kind of like a designed is not a great word, but do you think we are formed in the fashion to be able to live forever?
You say be able to. Do you mean physically be able to
mentally,
do it?
mentally and emotionally? Like, are we like? Do you think that we?
I think we're able to. I don't know that it would be a joyous experience. I think eventually it becomes completely joyless.
Why do you
and
think
almost torturous?
Why do you think that is the case?
Because we crave new experiences. We crave. We are led by our curiosities,
right?
And our sense of discovery to a large degree. And I think once that is out of the equation, we don't really know what to do with ourselves. And I think that's why
I'm trying to think how long it would take to get there if you've got a galaxy spanning civilization.
A long time, and that's why I say there's not nearly enough time passed for them to feel that way already.
Right.
Because just the concept of fighting 16 nude clones of yourself. That'd be pretty fucking awesome.
Right. I did like that when when Kovach double sleeved. And his kind of cool devil may care guy interacting with himself, and they're and I also enjoyed the rock paper scissors. How it's
who gets to go have sex with this attractive?
But they played 5 rounds and they just matched each other because so it's you're literally what would I do, and that guy's thinking what would you do, and you're coming with the same conclusions. It's just it was a funny moment, and I liked it.
Yeah. How do you think they eventually resolve that?
I imagine that eventually you start playing the games and the meta games, the meta games. We did that. What game did we play where
I feel like you have to play a game of chance at that point.
Yeah.
If you're literally the same person at that moment, you have to play a game of chance. Otherwise you're just going to be stuck.
I feel like within
forever.
10 casts you would break it. It wouldn't be an infinite stalemate. Because again, the meta constantly shifts. There's no way I would do this paper 5 times in a row.
But the other person's thinking exactly the same.
But they wouldn't. Wouldn't they start drifting almost immediately?
I don't know.
That's the thing. And there's
without outside stimulus, I don't know.
So here's the other thing that I found interesting when I was reading people's reactions to this is a lot of people are getting into the whole are these even real people? Is it possible that when you have your stack implanted when you're 1 year old, that actually killed who you are, and now you're a simulation that thinks you're the original person? And then what happens when you're double sleeving?
That's fine.
Who is the real person who's fake? And I guess
what consequence is that?
Increase. I'm surprised at how much I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
If
consciousness is about continuity to me, and it's not about some ethereal some chemistry of my brain that makes me.
Because you can get knocked on the head and have no memory of the last 3 or 4 days. How is that? There's so many nerds on Reddit if you got your sleeve destroyed and you went back to a 2-day-old backup, that's not even you anymore. Motherfucker, it's not you when you get knocked unconscious and you wake back up in a hospital if you're going by that definition.
Right. Or, I don't know, go to sleep. Where do you want to draw these lines? Because we can draw them arbitrarily anywhere.
Yeah, because the thing is does this me think it's me? Boom. Yeah. That's the trick. That's the trick of consciousness. Because what am I? What am I but a collection of electrochemical impulses and a bunch of meat that thinks it's a person?
Now, I will say, when you put someone into a different sleeve, it would absolutely change their future trajectory as a person.
Sure, because but that happens all the time.
I know, right? I could chop my hand off today, right now, and that would unalterably change my future.
Right, you get married, you get divorced, you suffer an illness, you suffer an accident.
It changes who you are, but that doesn't mean that you're not you.
Right. Yes, it's just you. It's the collection of chemical, electrical impulses that decided how to handle the latest random thing that happened.
And
to
if you can simulate that, that's as effective as the impulse is actually being chemical and physical.
Now, I guess my question is I will say that that's after 25 plus years of thinking about it. Like the very first time I remember this being presented with this dilemma was
the
like
transporter.
was Tom Riker, right?
Right.
Like oh, this guy got split into two, and this guy grew up like pining after Deanna Troi in this transporter stasis for 20 years, and this guy went on to be the first officer of the Enterprise. They're inarguably different people at that time.
Yeah.
But so what? That doesn't change Tom Riker, and it doesn't change William Riker.
Right.
Like, I just, again, like, I don't, maybe that bothered me in the beginning, but, like, I don't understand the existential dread of it.
Yeah, and I would say, like, Kovach, when he double sleeves, is two different people who have shared experiences up to a certain point.
Yeah.
You know, and then they diverge.
Right.
Like, one of the Kovaches went off and banged this MILF for however long.
Sure.
And one of the Kovaches went off and got killed.
Right. It's kind of like if you had a twin. I mean, I didn't know who gives a shit. That's like to me, you have to decide whether humans have souls or not.
Yeah.
And once you make that decision, everything else is like, yeah, like these neo-Catholics that think that their soul is being damned to hell if they get spun back up because they're subverting God's will, they have a problem.
I think that's a really cool concept to introduce into this
I thought
show.
so too. Yeah. No, I thought, and I liked how, like, one of my favorite exchanges was Kirsten's mom and dad arguing about the concept, where he reveals that, like, I'm not even that sure. Like, and also, because I don't know whether I just saw Coco like a month ago and it deals with the same kind of thing about, like, because just real briefly, Coco is about this Mexican family that, on the Day of the Dead, they have that spirit board where they put everybody's picture to great grandparents, and they believe that one day during the Day of the Dead, these ancestors can cross the spirit realm and, like, visit you and see how things are going. And the thing is once you're forgotten, you no longer are able to come back. Like when the last living person dies and forgets you, and you're no longer on that board, you're gone. And I thought that was interesting to play around that exact same concept in real life, where Kirsten spins her grandma up once a year. She borrows a convict's body, and there's a lot of physical
together.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool how she's like playing with the grandkids, and she's got these neo-Nazi tattoos and spider webs on his skull. But at the end, she's like, I don't want you to do. I don't want this anymore. I don't want once a year to, like, wake up and another year's gone by and people change, and, like, you're doing it more for me than you, or for you than me, and I just don't want it to happen anymore. Like, I thought, I can see a lot of people making that choice. Like, what happens? Like, oh shit, we forgot to bring grandma back. It's been 5 years. Oh, we should really bring her back. Well, how do we explain? Like, it is fucked up. The gaps between the full immortal continuity that the rich people have and the, like, kind of theoretical quasi immortality that everybody else has. But it's like also the American dream on steroids, because everybody dreams of how they can get into a place where they can live forever. Sure. Like that drove, I forget the consigliere character, what her name was, to serve the Bancrofts.
Yeah, I do.
You know her name?
I don't know her name.
But like that, her arc was really cool, and them fucking burning her. Was pretty
burning
cool.
her.
Yeah.
Like, Kovach just straight up lies and gets her tossed out on her ass into the gutter. Like,
that's
pretty brutal.
That was really fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And he has got that amoral streak.
Sure. Yeah.
But he also has the thing that his sister misses, which were like, that he, I guess her lesson was family is me and my brother, and that's the only thing I've been able to count on. Everything else is expendable, where he's like family is people that share common bonds and dreams and goals and values. So I don't know. Like, there again, that's why, like, a lot of times I thought I was watching, you can be fooled into thinking you're watching a much better show.
Yeah, and I kept expecting him to turn on his sister when she kept pushing him, using his friends against him, using his family against him.
Like, you found out that she killed everyone that you cared about, men, women, and children. She killed the love of your life.
To do it again.
And then she killed the family of the woman that you've started to care for in this timeline. At what point? I mean, the thing is I think he thinks she can be rehabilitated. Like,
I mean, she tells him, "I'm never going to stop." Like, I will never stop this. So,
right. But then, but I think the key is Takeshi has been to the point where he felt the same way, that I'm just this and this is all I'll ever be, and it's very Darwinian and I don't give a shit. And then he was shown a better way. Yeah. That his sister also was shown and signed up for and ended up betraying. It's complicated.
She seemed like she never really believed it. She was going along with her brother.
Right. And he also feels guilty because he, you know, as a 11-year-old boy makes the decision to join up with this crazy Galaxy Marines and secure safety for his sister, and he had no idea,
which meant leaving her behind.
But had no idea that the company had no intention of fulfilling, and that doesn't make sense.
Even if he did, like the whole purpose there of it is for them to be together, right? Like that was their thing,
right?
And he abandoned that idea.
Right, that's true. I don't understand why C-Tech didn't. Why don't you keep your promise? How hard is it to keep a Asian Hungarian girl alive in perpetuity?
Right.
Like if like, you know, I don't get it. I don't. It's like if word gets out that you don't keep your promises, then you're not going to ever be able to run scams on urchin boys again. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know. They also didn't do a very good job to me explaining why Takeshi is so much better than everybody. Like he takes out an entire squad of C-Tech goons.
I want to say it's like maybe the programming in his stack.
Yeah, but why?
Are you talking about the re-sleeved Takeshi? Are you
I'm talking about
Kovach?
like, remember when he comes in? When he first meets his sister, and she's working for the Yakuza, and he's working for C-Tech, and they realize that they
kill.
Yeah, like why can he mow down a whole squad of dudes that are just like him? They're armed and armored and trained and everything exactly like him.
He has the element of surprise.
Why is some Yakuza flunky able to like? Do I believe there is a single Yakuza that could take down a Delta squad? No fucking way.
Yeah.
It's a difference between professional soldiers and essentially amateurs that are learning Darwinian on the street. I mean, some of that's, I guess, rule of cool, but I wish they gave me something to like, why is he the best? Like, once he's like gets trained as an envoy, that starts making sense. Like that they're clearly so much better than your average goon at that point.
Yeah, but I'm trying to decide what of that is coding, what of that is just mental training, what of that is physical from his sleeve, because you see his old sleeve come back and it is fucking proficient.
Yes.
It slices him up no problem.
Right.
So
and it was clearly the original Takeshi model was like the Cadillac. Like it had that crazy see-through wall vision and all kinds of stuff.
But clearly, like Kovach re-sleeved as Reichert has some kind of abilities, right?
Yeah.
Mental fortitude at the least. But he's also in like taken into VR and says, "Oh, there's no like the super mind stimulation here." So there's something physical or something programmed into his stack. Maybe.
See, I think that's easy because like the fact that he had gone through virtual torture to be trained, like I think you get a natural mental resilience, but he wasn't super strong in the construct world.
Right, but that implies that his sleeve has super strength.
Sure, yes.
Or that something in his stack is programmed to give him special abilities, right?
Right. But I think the mental toughness comes from his training and his upbringing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That was like, so
That's why I say this series is sort of messy, because I don't think it explains a lot of stuff that I really want to know.
I also thought I walked away from episode 4 not being super impressed because it was built up like, oh, this is going to explore the fucked up regions of your mind. And I'm like, I mean, as far as like digital torture or virtual reality torture scenes, I feel like I've seen better. Like the worst they had is essentially the Matrix interrogation.
Right.
You know?
I don't know. I liked the deep dive on that torture episode. I thought
I liked the torture episode.
Good.
I thought that the actual torture, I guess I was expecting something even more fucked up. And I guess in the book, they like part of what they do is they put him into a virtual woman's body and like repeatedly rape him. And like I mean, you can't fucking put that on television. I don't think.
Westworld would.
Maybe, but I feel like you can't, like, it doesn't seem like it's
HBO would.
I just think you can get away with stuff in literature you can't get away actually showing. But, like, I don't know. I was expecting something really fucking gonzo. And it was like, well, they blowtorched his legs off, and, you know, I don't know. I was expecting something really fucking gonzo. And it was like, well, they blowtorched his legs off, and, you know, I don't know. I was expecting something really fucking gonzo. And, you know, I don't know. I was expecting something really fucking gonzo. And it was like, well, they blowtorched his legs off, and, beat him up real good.
I guess I liked...
They put fake aliens inside of him. I don't know.
Set him on fire.
Why can't they rape? Why couldn't the dude just rape Joel Kinnaman?
Sure.
Like,
right, pluck out his eyes and
yeah, like
that's
what I'm saying. Like, there's so much fight. I mean, he
pulled his fingernail out. Come on,
that
man.
was pretty bad. Yeah, no, that was pretty gruesome.
I guess I did like I
seen Black Mirror. Like, shit, the doctor did what the doctor did to himself in Black Mirror is worse than anything they did to Kovach.
That's true. So I guess I did like the mental training scenes with Kel Christ. I liked that stuff.
Right.
But it was all of like the switching
get to the next screen. What did they mean by get to the next screen?
I want to say it's like
a video game. I thought it was like a video game. They're like, get to the next boss. But like, I felt like that was a term of art that they didn't fully explain, or I didn't pick up on.
I agree. My interpretation of it was that you're getting to the next iteration of this torture killing process.
So get him to kill you, and so you can start over.
Yeah. But I honestly don't know.
We'd like to take a break here and talk about this week's sponsor for the Bald Move TV podcast, Casper Mattresses. And you can get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/baldmovetv. That's all one word. And using Bald Move TV, again, all one word at checkout. I'm a proud sleeper on a Casper mattress. That's an awkward way to phrase that I have a Casper mattress that I sleep on regularly, unless I'm at a hotel.
But basically every night, yeah.
Unless I'm at a hotel or at a friend or relative's house, I'm sleeping on a Casper mattress. And I've had it for, about 3 years now?
It's been a while, yeah.
And it's great. You think about it, you spend a third of your life sleeping, you should be comfortable, right? And what I appreciate about the Casper mattress is their technology uses very breathable design that helps you sleep cool and regulates your body temperature. And that's like, it keeps you, like, I feel like it's a great summer mattress and a great winter mattress, and that seems like something that should be hard to do, but they should
do? I feel like they should remake Cool Runnings with a Casper mattress as their bobsled, and just cool runnings that thing.
It's just cool sleepings.
Yeah,
cool. The Jamaican bobsled team sleeps on a Casper mattress.
I feel like that'd be a hit. I'd watch it.
It turns out that team didn't do very well, right? They came in second to last.
But they were proud of their accomplishment.
They completed the run. They completed
yeah.
the run. And they slept like babies on their Casper mattresses.
On the way down the hill.
Casper also offers a wide array of other products like pillows and sheets to ensure an overall better sleep experience. They offer hassle-free returns if you're not completely satisfied, which is where the rubber meets the door. They deliver it right to your door in a small how-do-they-do-that size box. I can confirm. Like, I could not believe a king-size mattress came in something approximately 3 foot tall by 2 foot by 2 foot. Super easy to lug upstairs, slice it open, it flops out, expands, and you got your mattress. And when I moved, I just rolled it up and used ratcheting straps to compress it back down, and it was like the easiest mattress I've ever moved to. It offers free shipping and returns in the U.S. and Canada. And again, bottom line, you can be sure of your purchase with Casper's 100-night risk-free sleep-on-it trial. Try doing that at another mattress place. Just go sleep on your mattress for 99 days and then take this thing back. Take this thing back. They won't do it. Once again, you can get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/baldmovetv and using baldmovetv at checkout. Both of those instances of Bald Move TV are lowercase, one word, terms and conditions apply. There's also some things like Reaper. Can you just, if you're an envoy with a combat and proficient frame sleeve, can you just ignore Reaper until dramatically appropriate time has passed?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, he's affected by it.
He is affected, but, not really enough to matter.
Not in the same way that, the guard who gets his shoulder nicked with it is.
Right. And
he's instantly
also
out
this
for
drops
hours.
your temperature enough that you don't show up on scans, but it doesn't fuck up your biological processes enough to, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Whatever, it's science fiction.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the stuff with Vernon's daughter?
I really like that.
I thought Poe,
some of the strongest stuff in the show.
I love Poe.
Yes,
I hope he's
Poe's
not
the
dead.
best character, period.
Right. I was because I thought he was going to be horseshit. But I really, really liked him. I really liked his arc with the daughter. I actually was kind of disappointed when they uploaded her into a virtual synth and she just I don't know, killed everybody. That's
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like, okay, So just this Joss Whedon-y kind of like...
I was going to say Summer Glau.
Yeah,
Firefly.
like I'm going to take this delicate flower, and she's the only way I can suggest that she's overcoming her trauma is that she physically kicks people's ass. Like, I thought that her mother, like, you know, there's her mother, for example, who's currently inhabiting like some junkie's body, which was also like a funny touch, is like this master hacker. Like, why does she have to literally go up there and kick people's asses to... I don't know, to get closure on this stuff? It seems like just a lazy way. Like, I'll just have this person kick ass.
Yeah, I mean, her trauma came from having her ass kicked, right?
I suppose. I thought it was mental torture.
I thought she was like repeatedly beaten and like raped and
right, probably in a VR world, but whatever.
Yeah, so I feel like, I mean, it's obviously it was about self-defense, but I don't.
I also think they fucked up here because I got the clear idea when they showed the takedown of the envoys, how like the crazy shit the envoys that were infected with that drugs that killed everybody was exactly the same stuff that Vernon's daughter was saying. And I thought they were suggesting that she was a similar victim of some kind of virus attack and it was going to be traced back to Bancroft, but that never went anywhere.
Yeah.
Like her saying like, oh, the stars monsters came from the stars and my mom was an angel spinning in the snow. Like, when you saw the attack, there was like snow falling through, and I'm like, oh, but that never went anywhere. What were they doing there?
Maybe it still will. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, I really like Poe and his concept. I like the him finally killing the virtual slaver.
I really like the weapon that the sidekick of his sister uses. That little starfish skin ripping thing.
I thought he was a really cool character, like a even crazier Anton Sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a true believer.
Yeah, it's like, are you a believer? And then he just rips like that fight he had with Kirsten in the elevator was fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I mean it shows like this idea of Mets as gods leaking further into like society, right? It's not just that they view themselves as gods, but people are starting to view them as gods.
Sure,
as well.
1,000 years from now, how are they different from Ra and Stargate?
Right.
I absolutely would believe that these people living among the clouds forever, with their advanced riches and experience and political connections, would be quickly perceived as gods. And I actually kind of see that's what I'm a sucker for all that. Like all the implications of the futurism tech. Like what are the societal? How does this affect religion? How does this affect society? How does this affect culture? And for everything that I thought was kind of hackneyed, it's like, okay, well, this is hard-boiled Blade Runner. Like, oh, the future, like, you know, sex. Sex perversions are essentially the same as 20th century sex perversions. But like that thing where the meta religions, the neo-Catholicism and this guy worshiping his meth as a god and seeing like going against his blasphemy, I thought that stuff is super cool.
Yeah. I think that tool is for removing. Is that tool for removing stacks?
I don't know.
Or is that just a weapon that he uses?
Seems, yeah, it's just like they didn't really explain it. It seemed like just a particularly vicious weapon.
It was when he takes that chunk out of Kristen's shoulder.
It's gross. It's really gross. And poor Kristen, she loses so much in this. Like,
yeah.
The reveal, like, okay. Before we talk about that, what did you think of the actual mystery? Because it seemed like he solved it 4 different times before he actually got the correct thing. Which was, you know, they got Bancroft high on some, what was that, stallion? Was that the drug?
I think so.
Made him actually give the true death to a hooker to get him brought up on charges. But why? And that's because Takeshi's sister did that because if they voted this Proposition 635 or whatever, then because her scam.
So I don't remember the ending of this very well.
It's very tenuous.
I remember Bancroft's part, but then there was this twist with the wife.
She had built this sex empire on the fact that you can kill these girls.
Sure, I remember that. Yeah,
and she recodes their stacks to give them religious exemptions, so you can't spin it up and see that it's, you know, it wasn't all in the up and up.
Right.
And there was in the beginning of the movie or the beginning of the series, there was this Proposition 635 that I think says that the state can spin up murder victims regardless of their religious affiliation to pursue justice.
Okay.
And so she needed leverage on Bancroft because he was the only one powerful enough to stop that from going through the government. Because if she didn't, then her entire empire would be destroyed.
Yeah.
And then
and she keeps professing throughout the whole thing, oh, I did this for us. I did this for us. Bullshit,
Whatever.
lady. I fucking hate that character.
No, she's terrible. And no, I didn't either. I
don't like the main. I don't like the guy who plays Kovach either that much.
See,
he's okay, but I feel like there were much better choices.
I thought him and his Asian variant were both pretty good.
I thought the Asian variant was much better.
It's hard to say because it could be familiarity brings contempt. Like he got
maybe I don't feel that way about.
He actually got to be a 3-dimensional human being, whereas white boy Takeshi was pretty much straight jacketed in too cool for school, emotionally detached mode. He wasn't allowed to show much range. I actually thought his final performance, where he's cradling his sister and crying, that was actually pretty good Joel Kinnaman work.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. And then his wife Miriam beat Vernon's daughter to death because she was going to have a Bancroft child that wasn't hers. Mm-hmm. And that's the leverage she used to get her to drug her husband to do all the other stuff.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
But I actually like the idea, like I was really thought like, oh wow, they've solved this when they found out that like Bancroft's son had hijacked his body, and that, like I'm like that's a plausible thing. The consigliarity plot I thought was plausible, even though it was total bullshit.
It was one of the more fucked up parts of it, I thought, was when the 12th daughter steals the clone sleeve of her mother and goes and gets fucked by these people at this party.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, that's real fucked up.
They did do an effective job of like anyone can be anyone, and how do you protect against that?
And at the same time, like there are plenty of people who should have questioned those things but never did, and like it seemed to be of two minds in that regard.
What were we going to talk about before? The sister. We not like. What do you think about the showpiece clone at the tank attack where Kristen got locked in?
I thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool. I was laughing out loud by the end where she is just like, plugging these things as fast as they come out of the tank. Did she not have the option to just be like, okay, pause for a minute, like don't needle cast me into another clone, or did she not have control? Because
I thought she was trying to kill Kristen.
But it became clear she had no, like once Kristen had a gun and she didn't, like she was just getting her clones rapidly decommissioned.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's like one of those things that's an automated process. If you die, it just needle casts you into the next available clone.
It could be.
And it's like she couldn't stop it. It's just like she just kept popping out and getting dispatched. Yeah. What else do we want to...
I want to ask you, do you think... So, as much as I hated this sister, I also don't trust her. Do you think that her telling Kovach that Kel is still out there and she saved her stack somewhere is a lie?
It's definitely possible, but it does seem like that's going to be the hook for the series.
Yeah.
That he's going to be wandering from sad sack location to sad sack location looking for his lost love.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And it's kind of a bummer because, like, I thought that Takeshi and Kristen had a decent amount of chemistry. And, I know she's pining after her love, but I just felt bad for Kristen because she loses her entire family. Her boyfriend got framed and sent up the river. And then she falls in love with this other guy, and her boyfriend's body is not her boyfriend, and then he ultimately rejects her. Like, what a fucking roller coaster that's to go through.
Yeah.
Like, what's her boyfriend do when he gets off ice back in his old body? And he's like, so, what's been going on? He looks down his body and it's all fucked up and like got a bunch of new scars and like, what did you do? What'd you do while I was on ice?
I don't remember, but you deserved it.
Right. And it's your body. Is it really cheating on you if you're fucking some other dude in your boyfriend's body? I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't live in that world. I will say that this show is a clinic on style.
Oh yeah.
I mean, holy shit, it looks amazing. And we talked a little bit about like all the different like VR worlds and stuff like that. But there's this one shot where we're flashing back to this battle with Takeshi, and Kel's up in this ship, and Takeshi is looking up and says, "She got away. You'll never get her." And then the ship blows up, and Kel dies, apparently.
Yeah,
and then there's this slow motion spinning camera that kind of phases, like does 3 different phases of him breaking down, and I thought that was beautiful.
Right. Yeah. No, there's a lot of really cool. I thought like the SeaTac soldiers were objectively cool, and every single time they showed up, I'm like, this is fucking hot. And like a lot of the way the technology was visualized, I thought was really really cool. I liked the way the skyships looked. I liked like just little touches. Like every time we saw Bancroft's house, I thought it was like he has Sputnik. Like he has paid someone to go up and get the first satellite and put it above his mantle.
Yeah.
And he's got like Nazi paraphernalia, and he's got so also low key. This is alien technology. They don't really explicitly come out, but in the very last episode, she is showing a fossil of I forget what they're even called. But like there's this precursor alien technology that this all this stack stuff is based on, and they don't make a big deal of it, but I thought that was pretty cool.
It makes me wonder how they got it in the first place, and then what came of the aliens. Like, are we in contact with them?
I kind of feel
did they
like
help us populate the galaxy. Like,
I feel like that this this is tech that they recovered from an alien world, and they're an extinct race.
Oh,
because there's like she said this is a she said that and it said they had the fossil mounted on a cross, and like
the race that invents the technology to become immortal goes extinct.
That's
fucked.
Like I would like to see Bancroft talk his way out of a gamma ray burst.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
but a gamma ray burst that hits the whole galaxy at once. Like, come on, man.
That's true. Because like well, I mean. It doesn't imply... Yeah, I guess it does. It does imply that they're a star-faring species. Because I'm like, just because they have stack technology doesn't mean that they could travel to stars, but humans can. And that seems like it's implied that we had a massive leap forward in technology based on this alien technology. So I would like to know more about that. I
imagine this will get a season 2. With
Probably.
as much as people have been talking about it.
The question is, does Joel Kinnaman come back? Because like they have the perfect excuse to like have a new cast every fucking year if they want. Like
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I kind of am too. I'd like for them to keep like old Takeshi.
What happened to his sleeve?
I think that they implied that they're going to clear her boyfriend, and he's going to be re-sleeved in his original body.
I mean Takeshi's original sleeve.
That's a good question because
he fights him, and then what?
Max Headroom, did he say? I thought he said that was a clone. That he had gotten off of like biomatter and okay, so that's not his original body.
Fair.
I don't know because you're right. They did that when they put him on ice for 250 years. They had his body.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They gave it and it's like just used up or what.
I don't know. Wonder if he'll get that back.
Yeah, because I'd be fine with letting old Takeshi like be the guy next season.
Yeah,
see if he succeeds or fails. Because again, you can replace all these people, and I think that would be kind of a neat feature. Like that way you could tell seasons of this in different worlds, and you don't have to worry about the cast and aging out because you got the perfect excuse to they got re-sleeved.
Yep.
Yeah, Takeshi doesn't give a shit. He's needle casting everywhere. Let me ask you a big question I think people will ask. If there is a season 2 of Altered Carbon, is it a full series? Is it something we would do a full podcast on?
It has the potential to, yeah. I mean, we'll have to look at the Baldies and see what our biggest misses are next year. But it certainly has a lot of potential.
It's probably like everything else, depends on schedule. It's a tricky because Netflix requires us to do work in a compressed time frame for it to be relevant. Like we can't do one episode a week because that's not how people watch these shows on Netflix. So they're tougher and more strenuous, but they're also nice because we can get through them in 2 weeks and we don't have to think about until the next time. So there's pluses, there's minuses. It's always like I enjoyed this, and I think there'd be enough to talk about with the neo-noir mysteries and the philosophical questions and the interesting technology and all that, but like it's just going to depend on probably the schedule. So that's it for Bald Move Television this week. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I have no idea when we will be back for the next one, but there is lots of new television coming up all the time. So probably not too far into the future. Certainly not 250 years from now.
I want to check out Amazon's new series, Electric Dreams. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
The
that
Philip
looks
K.
good.
Dick anthology-based thing.
Man, Netflix is just putting out too much content.
I know, man. I know.
Like, between their movies and their television series, there's so many things
Yeah.
that keep coming out. Like, I want to see the thing on National Lampoon.
I watched that. It's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because like, there's all this stuff that's coming out that's good, but I don't feel like I ever have the time to
There's the
see
new
it.
Frankenstein Chronicles with Sean
Yep.
Bean. I want to see that.
Yep.
It's too
Another
much.
one I saw. I don't
You
know.
watched
Maybe
that?
No, I said no because
you saw the preview.
Yeah, the new on Netflix is a constant. Like, I've got so much I add to my list, and I'm not taking stuff off of it. We should do a Bald Move TV just on like the things we want to watch on Netflix.
Okay.
Because maybe we can get organized and like watch something and get something professionally out of it. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll be back at some point in the future. Until then, I'm Aaron.
I'm Jim.
See ya.